Of course, I mean, just like every other guy, of course you want to see attractive women in the ring wrestling, but I hate the beauty contest, you know, that kind of stuff. It's not really about that. In my opinion, I've seen like women's wrestlers from all over who can actually get in the ring and compete with the guys, and I think that should definitely be put out there like in front.
In America, the state of women's wrestling is kind of abysmal. I love women's wrestling, and I mean actual women's wrestling. I don't like women who dress like strippers. I don't like women who dress like, you know, cheesecake and all that, because they feel that's the sex appeal is what's going to take it over.
A woman in a wrestling ring is become, I mean, it started off as, you know, carnival sideshow stuff, and, you know, they just kind of evolved, and you have now it's part of the show, and it's kind of, I've seen it kind of de-evolve back to almost to being a sideshow at one point. Now it seems to try to give it credibility in the pros now when you watch it on television, sports entertainment.
First question, of course, is going to have to be what I think of women's wrestling. You know, the past women's wrestling, like the GWC. And the thing you got to understand is with the women from the past, it was more quantity versus quality, but it was like more of they were different roles more than just a wrestler. Now we got more wrestlers than we have, you know, than what we had before. Before they were the valets, they were the hosts. We had one was a referee. We even had a few GMs.
From our side of things, you know, backyard wrestling. A woman in backyard wrestling is a rare thing.
I just like for women to show up and you know, put it out there. You know, I'm not a feminist, but I'm a feminist in the belief, or I'm an equalist in the belief that if you can do my job just as much as I do, or you can do better, more power to you.
The women's side is something I'm wanting to see more of, because of the fact that, well, I know the fans at home probably think the same way. The ones on TV are not doing a very good job, and I know that we want to showcase, at least in the GWC, we want to showcase the women's talent correctly, the way talent should be.
Your names.
Well, some of the names now, some of the great names in the past, female wrestlers in our sport in the backyard. Now, one of the most prevalent was definitely the First Lady Ava. First Lady Ava was valet for T3 at the time, back when he was the instant classic T3.
I was very impressed with Ava. Like she was what the name says, First Lady, classy, but she could be tough and violent. So she was perfect. When you're the First Lady and you can be tough, that's who I vote for. That's my politician. So I was very impressed with her. So she hurt me.
She was out there and providing assistance, which later built to this great storyline. Well, half storyline, half reality, to where they ended up battling each other over. Well, one reason was storyline, the other reason was real. So
it was one of the greatest days of my life, seeing him get his ass kicked. So I remember that, and it was hilarious. Everyone was just looking like, oh my God, the horror. I'm looking at it like somebody make some popcorn, because that was a great, not just in wrestling or GWC, but for women everywhere. So I felt like a woman just watching it, just like, you go. I felt like singing, I'm everyone. While eating my popcorn. Eat loving me, anything you want done, baby. So seeing that was just hilarious to me, and I just want to be like, you go, girl. He deserved that ass whooping. I didn't want that ass whooping to stop. If it was up to me, that'd be a 24/7, 24-hour, 7-day special. Just, I loved watching. Thank you for reminding me that.
Yeah, that was the one time Daniel got my ass whooped. Cause okay, this was the story. First Lady Ava. Me and her were dating. Good relationship. Hate to say I cheated. You know, it was me. I'm sorry. I cheated. It was on me. My apologies. Stuff that and there. Everything got out. We decided to still remain friends. I wanted to work it out, you know. And Daniel thought it was a great idea if we had a match. But he didn't know the underlying story between me and her.
From my perspective, what happened was she came in, and I think she had two of her friends with her. And all during the matches, she kept asking Daniel if she can have a match with T3.
Earlier that week, we fussed and we argued and all that.
After the match, and they walked away, you can clearly see that T3 was mad at Daniel because he was trying to tell Daniel that she was going to kill him.
And so he was like, let's have a match. And they were all looking. I was behind all of them. And I'm like, Daniel, no, don't do this. Don't do this. And she's like, yeah, let's have a match.
And T3 was trying to tell Daniel, no, don't, whatever she says, no. And, it was seen kind of weird. So they had a match. Next thing I know, her two friends had these umbrellas because it was raining that day. And they started beating the crap out of T3.
Because she knew I wouldn't put my hands on her. And she knew this is a way to get out pent up aggression at this guy that cheated on me. And I can get away with it because it's wrestling. So yeah, I got beat with an umbrella. I got kicked in the nuts.
I mean, they were like completely beating the shit out of him.
I'm glad it was him and not me.
And to this day, I still tell Daniel that he pretty much sacrificed his cousin for a rating.
The First Lady.
I'm gonna get my nails arched.
One.
Everything.
1, 2, 3. And it's over. Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen some real bad beatdowns, but ladies and gentlemen, that's our opener, and get ready for more violence when we go into the intensity
Whose house
zone.
is this?
Gentlemen, thank you. The Snow House. Damn, TV got knocked the fuck out.
Now, another great female competitor from the past, and someone not to be missed, is certainly going to be. You can't forget. Most women in the past play valets, but you can't ever forget Blaze.
She was a great example of protecting her men, protecting her guy, making sure to participate as much as she can to make sure your person you're rooting for wins, who you're with wins, who you're managing wins, and oh God, I remember the pain now.
Oh, Blaze.
Wait a minute, Blaze getting back in. Oh!
Blaze ain't pay attention.
1, 2.
Blaze taking shit. Oh my God! Here we go.
She was very tough. All these women are so tough and strong and brutal. It's like they're the strong monsters, and I'm the scared girl in the horror movie.
She was great. She was my valet. She helped me through a lot of the earlier matches I had, and she played it. She really was good at getting those extra shots in, for the California Kid, and involved in the promos. Really good stuff from her.
Yeah, she was great. She was funny and fantastic. Like I said, hit hard, but she was funny though, so it kind of worked out. I don't want to get hit by her again. I just couldn't. I rather.
Yeah, those shots on the outside were pretty stiff.
Yeah, they were very stiff. That's when the lawsuit really came in. Abuse and sexual harassment. I'm joking, but Blaze. I like Blaze. She was great.
When we first came about, Amber auditioned for us in Atlanta. She had a good look about her. It was very refreshing, and we needed somebody to do some of these countdowns because we were kind of venturing into doing countdown, which the most painful moments. 2007 was a very, very intense year.
She's probably one of a very good host for the show, and she brought something to the segment that she did, and it was like probably one of the most watched non-wrestling things that we had at the time, and it was like amazing. It's like people loved Amber. They just couldn't wait for, what was it, the 20 most extreme moments, and it was like I think 2007, 2008, and I think 2009. I can't remember, but people just loved it because Amber was like so good with that role.
GWC Intensity, which then was known as AWS Intensity, was known for some of the most brutal competitions you could ever see in backyard wrestling, and our affiliates as well. So we put together this countdown of the top 20 most painful moments, and we needed a host. And there she was, Amber. Great, just great. I liked her voice. She was great, and she really added a nice garnish to the show.
She made it her own. Wish she could keep doing it.
She was a dish. She was really wonderful, and she had a good sense of humor. Her countdowns were some of the biggest impacts on the channel we ever seen. I mean, the numbers on these countdowns. I mean, the first one got 72,000 views within the first few months. I mean, it was insane.
Heat from EFE.
Heat playing a great role as Super's valet.
Very attractive young lady. Played her role very well. She's more of a valet for Super, or simply Super, but she did get in the ring. She even got kidnapped by the freaking Widowmaker, which was just bizarre, but she made it work.
But she was strong and all right. Well, and the day she surprised everybody was the day that she ended up getting into a squabble with Alex O'Neill, verbal altercation that turned into an actual match, and she lit him up. And that was one of the biggest turning points on the original AWS Intensity show, is when she took on Alex O'Neill and really got some offense in.
Oh my goodness, here we go! It's once again time! Oh my goodness! Oh, here we go! He taking on Alex O'Neill, the 11th. Oh my goodness, there she goes! What's this? What's this? All right. She's saying it hurts. Yeah! Oh no! Wait, what the hell? Oh my God! Oh my God! No, you see that? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Can you believe this?
It's him!
Hobbs was risen from the grave. So much soup.
What the hell? He's
pushing Alex O'Neill.
He's got to get the pin here.
Draping it on.
1, 2, 3. See this beat Alex O'Neill.
Oh my God, Super's here.
He has won.
To that point, there hadn't been a lot of female competitors who stepped up and like really got in there. The valets generally just kind of hung on the outside, and they would just kind of help us along. But man, that was a game changer.
Of course, you had Skull Kid. She was probably one of the tougher female wrestlers that I've seen.
She was a very good athlete. She really knew what she was doing.
Well, where to begin with Skull Kid?
Skull Kid got brought into the RHW. We had a tryout.
I got my start in the GWC when I first got recruited to RHW, and I got recruited by my friend Willie B. I had a tryout with the rest of the RHW crew that was in charge, and they liked what they saw. So
there's two people there. There was this one guy who was, kind of crazy and everything else, and then there was Leah. Well, we really needed more talent. We chose Skull Kid over. I don't even remember that guy's name, but we chose her because she had more upside to her. She had the karate background, the taekwondo background, 2-time state champion. You can't beat that anywhere else.
Yeah, I want to get Skull Kid. Skull Kid got a unique style,
Work the arm. Look at the look on the face of Skull Kid. Skull Kid is ticked off. Skull Kid is ticked off.
my most recent was with TMB. I had a really good time in that match. He taught me a lot of things in the short period of time that we were able to wrestle together. And it was a good experience and probably one of my most favorite matches to take a part in.
The match I had between Skull Kid was pretty good. It was one of my favorite matches, and I don't have too many matches against women, but that one is definitely up there. She like to throw a lot of kicks.
Jumping away, at the minute, and a kick right to the temple. Hit the ropes. I wouldn't trust her. I wouldn't trust her. Wow!
I am known for being a 2-time state champion in Taekwondo.
Here they go. Oh man, look at Skull Kid. Wow!
Both takes them both out right here.
this man on the... It skates out of it. Whoa! Reversal. Oh, beautiful! An opportunity. Oh, my! Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness!
Skull Kid brought a different feel to the table. She had the martial arts, those real stiff kicks. I mean, man, you talk about dealing out damage. She had a weapon, and a weapon that most female competitors on the show, most female characters on the show hadn't had in the past.
So she brought a different dynamic, a different, what's the word? Demographic. She brought a different demographic, not only being a female wrestler, but also being someone who could do the karate and everything else.
Me personally, I met Skull Kid when I arrived in Hinesville. I was there with, I believe, the Pike and Mike Cross and a few other guys rode in there to compete in the Hinesville non-tournament RHW, and there was someone sitting off in a chair, just as calm as the breeze. You know, just calm, just sitting there chilling, just looking around, hadn't said anything to anybody, and she sat there, and I walked up to her. She knew my name, shook my hand, and I remember asking what her name was, and there it hit, Skull Kid. I'm like, didn't know what to think of that. It was different. It was one of the most different names I've ever heard for a female wrestler.
She was doing good at the beginning and everything. She kind of struggled through it and everything else, so we couldn't really figure out how to place her and everything else. She was the good guy. She was a good guy up to a certain point. And there was one point where I said, you know what? Just go out there and just light a fire under Willie B. Just like tear him apart.
You're never there for me. You always sit there and you just stand in the background while I'm getting my ass handed to me. Right, okay, mister. I'm the Extreme Champion. Always getting the glory. What about Skull Kid? Huh? What about me? You take that with you.
She just like tore him up with a promo, and that's when she became the evil Skull Kid. Loved it. I loved her dynamic that way. She played a better villain or antagonist than she did a protagonist, and just the way she did it.
I am an Extreme Champion, a former Extreme Champion, which was converted to the Liberty title. I'm the first woman to have a non-woman title. I got a man's title, essentially.
Before she left, she had a match and she became the new Extreme Champion. And I gotta say, I'm very proud to say she was the only female in the old GWC to hold a men's title.
Going up top. Oh my God!
From the second.
Beautiful leg drop right there. She didn't get in the right position. She gets the cover, a quick 3 count. What in the world?
She's a new. Didn't believe Maggot could get in time to reclaim his championship, and just effectively just names a new champion.
Look at that devilish smile. She stole one away, but then again, she was screwed earlier in the match. You gotta think, but this has got to be more to the point of Code Red screwing over Camo Kid.
This ain't enough. This is not enough. I want another title. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for another.
She's talking some trash after being the newly crowned Extreme Champion. There she is.
Guys, we're talking about how, because I'm a girl, I can't get, a title, but proves right here what I could get.
She held the men's title, a man's title. So she was one of the men, even though she was a woman. And I'm very proud to say that she was part of, the RHW and the group that we had going on there. Skull Kid was the epitome of the wrestler back then in that era.
Most notably, I want to shout out to Nina Monet and Pandora for doing what they're doing right now. You guys are doing a great job, and I really like how the direction you guys are taking wrestling for women. You're giving the guys a reason to respect us.
Sounds good.